I'm about to play this game.
Finish playing for the
I'm going to leave that in.
Right.
There is a dog under there.
Oh God.
I am going to leave that in. Hi guys. Welcome
Hi.
back to So Many Dice.
We play Frostpunk.
We played Frostpunk, Scenario 1,
Yes.
with the Frozen Grove.
Being the storm.
Yeah.
Yes. And that, whatever that metal thing is at the top,
The Dreadnought.
that's the one.
Yeah, the Dreadnought map, which we didn't use at all.
Absolutely no reason.
This is over here, by the way, because if it's there, it goes out of focus for some reason. It just wants to focus on its glory.
Here's a glorious piece of thing.
So, this video is basically, we've just played it, and I'm going to interview Elena to see what she thought of the game.
Absolutely.
This is our first time playing anything like this. This is like massive compared to what we're used to. We normally just play like normal games you can knock out in about like an hour and a half.
This is a beast of a game.
This has been on our table for a week.
We haven't played it for an entire week. It's taken us probably about 3 evenings to play the whole thing, and we've invested a fair bit into kind of learning and watching videos of it being played.
Yeah, we did set it all up, and then on last Sunday we set everything up and watched Quackalope and Rado do their Quackalope played it with West, and Rado had like a how-to guide basically.
But it was like a one-player situation where if you hear squeaking, it's the dog. Yeah, so it was really good. I think the sequence of it was we essentially watched the games being played by other people, and then we decided to kind of have a go ourselves. We follow the same scenario as Quackalope and West were kind of playing.
Jesse and West. Quackalope channel.
Oh, sorry, technicality. And we essentially kind of played through the same scenario, kind of try to find the same cards, move pieces around just to familiarise ourselves with it.
Yep.
And kind of got the gist of it a little bit. Not a lot, I feel. We were still probably quite confused at that point. The second video with...
Is the Rado one, yeah?
That one.
Yeah.
I feel like that probably gave me a lot more insight because it was like explained as a playthrough, whereas the first one was just literally playing the game. So maybe didn't have quite as many explanations, but it was good to watch anyway, just to like see the interaction and how things were happening. I'm gonna ask you some questions, and we'll see your thoughts. What you liked and didn't like about Frostpunk. Perfect. Okay.
Scenario 1. I have to say it's just scenario 1. There might be spoilers in this video. Watch the whole thing, but ignore what we say.
Let's go.
Right. Question number 1. The setup. What was it like to set up?
Would not know, because I did not set this up. I did not have the patience for it. So Pete over here did all the work, and he took probably about an hour and a half to go through everything.
Because I didn't know what anything was, and I didn't know where it went.
Yeah, there was probably a lot of confusion, lots of flicking back through the sort of guide and the books and everything we have, but it was a lot, and in reality, I think you set it up one evening and then just left it, and the next evening
set it up, got tired,
watched the videos, and then the third evening I think probably actually ended up playing our first round or read the book ourselves.
Right, what do you think about the board is my next question, the layout?
The boards are okay. I mean, there are a lot of them, and there's a lot of maintenance of all of them throughout the rounds, the phases, everything. Maybe some of it could have been combined differently or done slightly differently. Maybe...
like I said, on the long track where you record like how many citizens you've got, how much food you've got, the deaths that are on this board over here with your resources, I feel like the deaths should be somewhere on that board just because it'll be easy to track. And I also thought on the round tracking board, where it says who you're going to feed this round, I feel like that could have been over here as well.
With your citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. And then you could have had like your hope and your discontent with your supply. So almost like out of 3 boards, you could have had 2.
I do feel, they've clearly done it so you can have more players and everyone feels like they've got a task.
Yeah, you can almost like spread them out. Like you look after this board, you look after this board, and then one thing I think maybe they could have done a bit better with all the cards and the management of all the cards. We ended up sort of using the box for storage, or
like a
just to keep a bit of like
discard pile.
Yeah. Well, discard pile, and also just sort of keeping a bit of tidiness to the table, and I mean, there isn't necessarily like a board for something. We got a bit sort of, even in the setup, we got a bit sort of caught up in the, should we have this? Like before we started playing, like, should we have an area for this? Should we have an area for this? And when you start like kind of getting into the play of it, understanding the cards, you actually don't really care too much about it. As long as you have a space to sort of put your law cards or your event cards.
I did say, I think like there's a neoprene mat you can get, which just adds like snow basically to and like, so you're not just looking at a table. I feel like the neoprene mat could have slots to place cards, but
potentially,
like, if your table isn't big enough for it,
you'll end up with just a big neoprene mat that doesn't fit on your table. And
you're playing on the floor if you haven't got a big table for this.
You're committing to a big area, and it might not even fit the shape of your table. I mean, we're playing on a big.
This is a big table.
8-seater.
But it's like a narrow, long one, isn't it? Whereas I feel like you need like a wider one, which on a game table,
like
you've
square.
Yeah.
Or something.
Like the tables that are designed to play board games, you'd be fine.
Potentially.
But
it's not a bad setup. It gives you flexibility, so you can. The fact that it's broken down in more boards, I guess you have more flexibility to play with whatever shape setup you have. It's a bit inclusive. You don't have to have a massive. I don't know. You do need to have some sort of massive space to put all this down.
Yeah, you do.
And just not need your dining table for about 3-4 days or however long you take to play this game.
When you get guests come round and they're all like, "What is it?" We
also had to almost like push everything to one end of the table, and the four of us just used.
Yeah, we had guests round for food.
This part of the table. It worked. I mean, it wasn't the worst of it, but yeah.
Which was quite a funny night because we had this on the table. We played with like this much room, and we ended up playing cockroach poker.
And parks.
And parks. Yeah, and parks.
So we ended up with 2 games on the table, and everyone huddled around this end trying to make it all work.
Right, we digress.
Next
question.
Back to
theme.
Questions.
What do you think of the theme of this game?
Apocalyptic New World. The theme is...
New London.
Okay, I don't particularly like that. It's a bit sad and gloomy, but I'm a bit of like happiness and positivity.
Like the Everdell.
That kind of like. I mean, if it was Everdell and we were building a society like this, Everdell style.
What, like misery and despair, but with cute little creatures?
No. You were like
watch
starting.
Mr. Bunny eat Mr. Fox.
Let's not get into that kind of like.
That's a game. If someone wants to make it, I would buy it.
No, I'm thinking more like you're in a meadow and you are, I don't know, the raccoon, because I love raccoons.
Panda.
Thank you, and you decide to start a society, and you have all these little people coming like, oh, I want to move in, and then you start building little houses for them, so it's just a bit cheerful rather than, the world has come to an end, and now you have to build it all together. But that, I mean, it's not bad, but it does make you make some really tough choices because
massively.
Of the theme, like child labor.
Prostitution,
eating rats, eating wolves, eating all sorts of things, and then getting sick for it, or burying people, not burying people, looking after people, feeding them, not feeding them, overworking them, or it does have a very kind of
morbid,
but like harsh reality sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Which
it sounds like you just described actual London there.
I mean, there are parts which are very kind of relatable, I guess, to London. We don't live in London, but we are fairly close to it. It's good, and it's like some of it is inspired from like London's past, like the 1666 with the big fire, and 1665 was it something with the
if
rats.
If you know the dates, I'm impressed because I haven't got a clue.
The brains of
the rats. Have you been to London? You've seen the
They are still rats in London. They haven't quite disappeared.
Big rats.
But it's a nice place. It's fun.
Right.
Next question
is gameplay and production. The amount of effort gone into planning this game.
Yeah, I mean, there are some pretty big brains behind this entire thing.
Yeah, like, congratulations whoever put this together. You
Honestly,
did a fantastic job.
You have my absolute admiration on the detail that has gone into this. The scenarios
is based on a computer game, just so you know.
Okay.
And it is very similar. Like, it is a hard game. It's very harsh.
Yeah, you know, I feel like the work that has gone into this, like the artwork is amazing, the cards are amazing. We only have the basic version.
Yeah, like, we haven't got anything upgraded. We haven't got loads of little buildings and stuff, but
it's still good. Like,
if you had that, do you think it would add to the experience?
I don't know.
I feel like it would, just because it's tactile, but you basically you'd put this cardboard down and put the building on top, so you wouldn't be able to see the information on the cardboard. You'd just see the building.
Yeah.
So if you don't know off by heart what that thing does, you'd have to keep picking it up, looking.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I don't think for me necessarily it would make a massive difference. I don't really.
I like shiny things, so I would definitely do it.
I'm more functionality over design, so as long as it does the job, I don't need it to be like super duper super pretty. So it's good. It's amazing. The detail is fantastic. Like I said, artwork, love it. There's a lot of thought that's going into it.
Nothing feels cheap, even for the basic version.
No.
Is it? Nothing like
no.
Touch anything you like. It's a bit naff, you know.
I mean, it is cardboard and wood. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's nothing here.
Have you seen the upgraded trees on the other game there? When you get the expansion for the trees.
Yeah, the trees do look a bit better.
Certain
These
things
are a bit
like,
sort of like 2D, and those are like 3D.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a bit cooler. Don't get me wrong. It would be cool to have it, but would it affect your gameplay?
No. No, you still have to make the same decisions as everybody else, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. Next. Would you recommend this game to a beginner?
No.
No.
I would not.
No.
But if this was the first game we ever bought, I think we probably would have abandoned it. We probably would have just got overwhelmed. Well, I would have probably.
As a beginner, if you had to learn this or Parks, you're learning Parks all day long, right?
Yeah. I think so, because realistically, if you've never played a board game to understand sort of mechanics, how things are, I guess, I don't know, thought out, or they're meant to play out, or you're not used to kind of using so many things and paying attention to so many, this will have an impact on that will impact on that, start slow.
It is like a Euro. It is a Euro, basically, isn't it? It's like you've got to manage so many things. Like, I'm pointing over here, that way, because that's where all our games are. Like anything like, I don't know, viticulture. I'm not saying this is like viticulture, but you know when you've got multiple things to manage and you've got knock-on effects and you've got to look at a few things at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not. I guess I don't know, like a linear thing. It's not Monopoly. Roll the dice, move forward. Roll the dice, move forward. It's not that, is it? No. There's a lot of action and implication.
But you can play this with your parents, could you imagine that? Mum, do you want to start prostitution?
Should we start Red Light District, Mum? I think you should be up for like being the pimps of the...
Pimp? Mum's going to make some money.
Where I'm from.
Entrepreneur.
That part of the world.
I think we should skip on.
We won't help anyone.
Easy to play? Is it easy to play? How many times did you have to look at the rulebook? It was like permanently in your hand.
Yeah, I feel like for the first 6 rounds, 7 rounds maybe, we were constantly checking with the rulebook for every...
This little card with all the phases on.
And the little tracker.
That's great.
Yeah.
Every game should have these.
Yeah, it was great to sort of follow the phases, make sure we were doing the right thing as a reminder, because generally I think if you've only just started playing this, even like, if we do this again in like a week or whenever, you're gonna remember all the phases. So this little piece was absolutely crucial.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's not easy to play, but I think it's rewarding to play. I've actually looked forward to playing this.
We played it one night. woke up the next day and like you count down the hours to be like, when can I go back to the table?
I can't wait to finish work today and then go and have a glass of wine and carry on trying to save the world.
Yeah.
Some of the other games, I don't feel like necessarily we were that kind of. Well, I wasn't necessarily sort of going, I can't wait to play Terracotta Army again.
I think Terracotta Army is your least favourite game.
Scarred me. The end of game scarred me. That's another point. But yeah, this felt fun. This felt. I mean, I like solving problems, and this is a solving problem game, and it's like a head scratcher. Think ahead. What's your issue? What are you trying to solve? What's necessary versus what's like a bit of a luxury. You have to make tough choices at every turn.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Right, out of this scenario, what was your favourite part?
My favourite part was building the child shelter.
Build the child shelter. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it.
It's a nice to have because obviously it feels nice and fuzzy and warm.
The only downside is you don't do anything with the kids once you build the shelter.
Yeah.
They're just being bums sitting in the warmth.
They're being kids and they're having a childhood in the conditions which are posed by this awful world that they were born in. That's not great, but
I liked it when we went on expeditions and we came across Mr.
J. Frost that wrote
Frost
a poem, but he died in the snow.
Yeah.
It's all themed obviously, and going back to like the theme and everything, it's thought out. You have poems that are written and they're good poems. They're not
poems.
Just I don't know. They're not just sort of like
it's some really good flavour
nursery
text.
rhyme
Like
type.
the flavour text in this game is generally good.
Yeah.
You pick up a card, 9 times out of 10 it says something on there. Like it gets you in the theme. You are feeling for these people. You understand what they're going through.
Yeah. No, it's good, and it's also quite intense at time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like you're this kind of ruthless person. So I don't know. Like,
you can play the game ruthless. You can absolutely rule with an iron fist if you wanted to.
I have stopped him from doing that several times.
I'm not letting anyone in my little civilization. If you rock up and knock on the door saying, "Can I come in?" No, go away.
And I'm just there like, come on, let them in.
No, you're gonna eat my food. You're gonna annoy me.
Yeah.
I'm not feeding you. I'm not looking after you when you're sick. I got my people.
Clearly, the absolute, sob story believer that will just take anyone in and let them spread disease and whatever, eat all our food, and we'll die. But at least we die knowing we did a good deed.
No, I'm staying alive.
Okay.
What did you make of the end of the scenario?
That was a little bit of a non-event for this one. Maybe the others are different. Obviously, we haven't played that. We've only played scenario 1, and we had a storm, 3 by the end of it.
Yeah.
And it was okay, but it didn't have I don't know, we got to round 15, we actually made it, we actually survived this whole thing.
Yeah, we haven't said yet, we actually did survive this thing.
Yeah, to be fair, we were impressed. I think we got to about round 8 and we were still shocked that we were alive, and I was like, surely we did something wrong. But we kind of checked with each other, we're like, I don't know, do you feel like we're not doing something right? And maybe there was one time when, I don't know, we did one thing and it wasn't quite by the rule or something. I don't know, maybe we upgraded the building.
We did a really good job, to be fair. First time, first scenario.
Yeah.
I think we actually did very good.
It was alright. I think we did okay, to be fair.
But you're right, you get to the end and it's a bit like,
yeah,
what's next? Obviously there is what's next, it's the next scenario. But if you're only playing one scenario, potentially a month, if you've got loads of games to get through, then it is almost like okay, good, now, great, okay, let's box it up. I said there
finish
should
with
be,
well done, guys.
There should be a card for you've done the scenario. Here's a speech. Here's something to make you feel good for doing it. Here's a poem to be congratulations, you did it. Sit down, you've earned a drink.
And then you get the town crier come in and sort of congratulate you for what you've done. And I don't know, you have a little scroll pop up and they kind of do like a little, we would like to let everyone know that society will be thriving in this little town you've built, and I don't know, there is hope. But in our case, it just ended up with...
It just ended. And we were like, is that it? Are we done? And at one, we had 2 meeples left, and we were like, what do we do with the last 2? And we were like, collect wood for no reason whatsoever.
Just leave resources behind us and kind of pat ourselves on the back and just say, do you know what? We left this place in a good way.
Right.
Maybe that's it.
Final question.
Mm-hmm.
Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being your best game ever. Ever.
9.
9.
I think that's a good score.
Absolutely, it's a good score. So right now, you're saying this is your favourite game?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Not in a million years did I think I was going to say that.
When I ordered this, I literally thought she's going to kill me. You hit the button and you're like, instant regret. It was one of them, and I'm like waiting for it to be like delivered like, Sheen.
I mean, the box looks gigantic as it is. We did the unboxing, and when we were doing the unboxing, I was thinking, God, how many days, weeks am I going to have to dedicate to this to play? And obviously, about 3 days, and having it for a week on your dining table is the answer.
Pretty much.
Actually, I don't feel like it was quite that daunting to learn and to play. And like I said, I actually enjoyed it. I actually found it quite...
Yeah, because you're not just collecting victory points or money. You're making decisions that impact a hell of a lot.
You are in control of the decisions, and you're in control of what happens. Well, to a certain degree, obviously, you do have your, your dust cards, your morning cards, which just happen, and you don't have a choice in that. It's just, obviously, you have a choice in how you react to them. But it doesn't just feel like it's a bit of like a roll of the dice. You only have this many workers, or you only have this many actions you can take, and you can't do much.
Most games, you end up feeling like by the time it gets going, it's nearly over.
Yes.
You get that a lot with games. It's almost like just as you're getting into the swing of it, it's like you've got 2 more rounds and it's done. You're like, I didn't get to do half the things I wanted to do. With this, because there's so many phases throughout 15 rounds, that's a lot going on. And you get to the end, you don't feel, I didn't feel exhausted playing it. I got to the end thinking like, yeah, I've done some stuff today.
Felt productive. Although no one's paying us to do this. What I feel like it's interesting is, like you said, you get to play out things, you get to learn a bit more about the game, is interesting, and you don't feel like like you said, it doesn't leave you kind of going, oh, but I would have maybe wanted to implement 2 more laws, or it would have been fun to see more buildings on the map. Like, you actually feel like you get to a point where you're like, you know what, we've used a fair amount of buildings, we've discovered a fair amount of the map, we've blown up our generator.
We went on a few, because we didn't even go on expeditions till quite late, and even we could have done a few more, but we'd still got, what was it, 4 done? 5 done?
Yeah, I think so, 4 or 5.
But we didn't start doing it until like way past halfway.
Absolutely, yeah. It wasn't like a priority in the beginning. We just needed resources, and we needed to keep people sheltered and whatever. But it wasn't. I don't know.
I've got one more question actually.
We felt cheated.
Out of these 9 phases, which one was your favourite?
Action phase.
Putting the meeples on the board.
Building, It was like the one phase where I felt like we were in control of the situation. To a certain extent, obviously there are like external influences at play, but we did not get to do a lot of that in other games, where it was just very much like, I don't know, and these are your actions, and I don't know, you kind of have, we had like free range of, we were in control of a lot of things, and we were like thinking ahead a lot of positions, weren't we? And we were saying like, well, we'll use this guy for that, and that guy for that, and that guy for that. Mm-hmm. Where would that take us? And we were almost like playing in advance a little bit before we even were, putting these guys out, and kind of, seeing, we need to feed them, we need to do that, we need to make sure that we have this, and that. But it felt like we were in control of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And we were solving problems, and like I said earlier, like we were not just, doing things for the sake of it. We had to think of, can we feed people? Can we do this?
Do we have to make a law? Do we have to look after the generator?
Yeah, it was very much like I said, problem solving. I enjoy that. That's actually my job day to day. And it's...
I like number 7, the dusk phase. The dust phase was good because you get to draw your cards, mix them up, and then you get...
It's almost like
it's the
consequence of your actions.
Yes. And you see which one's going to come out, and it can properly screw you. or
actually reward you.
Or reward you.
For some of the good things you've chosen, like building a child shelter.
Yeah.
That actually helped us out so many times.
Oh, yeah.
The kind of consequence of building that child shelter came in so many times and helped us kind of cure people and, you know, kept us from essentially losing people in corpses. And, you know.
The same with the, what's it called, the
morning cards, yeah.
Morning cards. You pick one, something will pop up that's super interesting and make you choose, like, have a decision.
Yeah, and you have, like, the choices as well.
Yeah.
And I think
that was my favourite part of the game. Every time you picked up your dust cards, you were always, like, it was like an anticipation, wasn't it? It was always, is it going to be good? And it was like that every single time. It wasn't like you just picked it up going, oh, I don't care. It was like, what's going to happen?
And I feel like that the morning cards are actually fairly entertaining to a point, because you take it, and they all have like a cool title: theft, prostitution. I don't know. I can't even remember the rest of them now. Clearly, those stuck out for me. But yeah, it is the anticipation. I totally get why you like that phase. You like being surprised. I like being in control.
Yep. And what I've got from this is I can now go down a whole new route of buying big box games that are like this. Like,
I thought
Vanguard.
This might follow, and it's concerning. I will be selling games, guys, just so you know. At one point, I will need to make space in this house for...
We're making an office, and I'm going to get hundreds of games. Don't worry. Plenty of content.
We will be negotiating this. And we need to make space for it, if that is your plan, because just look at the sheer amount of space this takes. I mean,
Sleeping Gods. That's got to be on the list.
Okay.
Again, it's a game where you...
He's the expert. He brings them home, and I get dragged into doing this, clearly. I do enjoy it, I'm not going to lie. I mean, this was actually super fun. And like I said, interesting. Definitely.
It opened up your eyes to like a new level of board games, right?
Yeah. The ones that we had so far before this, and if you haven't seen it, just watch the video with his entire collection.
It's grown since that.
Yeah, a little bit. But it gives you an idea of like the games that we normally play, which I feel like don't have maybe enough actions or enough, I don't know, things happening, and we feel a little bit sort of, was that it?
It steps up, doesn't it? This is another level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's something that you didn't think you were going to get into, but you have. And then it's not as intimidating as it probably first looked.
Yes, definitely. I think it's fun. If we had more people, I think potentially could be even more interesting. I don't know how the decision making would go. Depends on the people we would invite.
I was going to say, if you're giving this to somebody that just wants to ruin the world,
and you have me on the table who wants to save the world, then we will be...
But that's the thing, if somebody's making a bad decision with that, potentially you've got to fix the eradications later on, if the discount comes up for what that person's made.
And it could be your turn to put it
and you
straight.
Literally have to clean up the mess.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to be very selective with who we invite to play this, because I don't want to veto everyone and just say, like, no. But it was fun. It was good. Buy it. I think it's an amazing game, to be fair.
There you go.
Probably expensive. God knows anymore.
I know, Tyler.
I choose to be
Every
ignorant.
game is about £10.
£10. Max.
Yeah. Right?
I choose not to know. It's probably better. And yeah, I mean, buy it if you can afford it. Clearly we can.
£10.
Easy. So, you know, have fun with it. Try not to get overwhelmed by it. You will get it. And when you start playing it, you'll probably find it quite interesting.
Yeah. Right. Wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we see you soon. Like, comment something. Have you played it? What do you think? What are the games that like this you think Elena should play? That's a good one to answer. And we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
See ya.